So as you guys saw by the title, today I'm going to be ranking each team's best player 1 through 30. And before we get started, I'm not going to be including free agents. So this includes players like Trevor Story and Carlos Correa, who are currently not signed to any teams but may be the best player on their past team. Anyways, let's get into the rankings. Coming in at number 30, I have Ryan McMahon of the Colorado Rockies. Ryan McMahon is a good player, don't get me wrong, but you don't really want him as the best player on your team. Last year, he played in 151 games where he hit .254 with 23 home runs, 86 driven in, and 6 stolen bases. So he is definitely a good baseball player, but if he's the best player on your team probably isn't the best. Coming in at number 29, we have Marcus Stroman of the Chicago Cubs. Stroman last year pitched in 179 innings where he had a 3.02 ERA and punched out 158 batters. Stroman is a very solid pitcher, an all-star caliber pitcher at times, but again, if he's the best player on your team most likely isn't the best. At 28, we have Sandy Alcantara of the Miami Marlins. Last year, Alcantara pitched in 205 innings where he had a 3.19 ERA and punched out over 200 batters. Alcantara is very similar to Stroman in the sense that he is an all-star caliber pitcher. He is really a good ball player, one of the better young pitchers in that Miami rotation. So yes, Alcantara is a very, very good pitcher, but when comparing him to the rest of the players we have on this list, he is not one of the best. At 27, we have Ketel Marte of the Diamondbacks. Last year, Marte played in 90 games where he hit .318 with 14 home runs, 50 driven in, and a .909 OPS. Marte is a very good ball player, as a couple years back he was towards the top of the National League MVP voting. But ever since then, he has had some trouble staying on the field. When he is healthy, he has the potential to be one of the better offensive players in the game. And at 26, we have Cedric Mullins of the Baltimore Orioles. Might get some pushback on this one, but hear me out. Mullins did have a 30-30 season this past year, but before that, he has never really done too much. He showed his full potential last year, and he really has the ability to be a perennial all-star, but I just need to see it for a little bit longer to put him higher up on the list. At number 25, I have Jonathan India of the Reds. India put together a monster year last season as he won the National League Rookie of the Year. All in all, in 150 games, he hit .269 with 21 home runs, 69 driven in, 12 stolen bases, and an .814 OPS. India, a very good young ball player, has the potential to develop into a perennial all-star. At number 24, I have Brian Reynolds of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reynolds was a first-time all-star last season as he played in 159 games where he hit .302 with 24 home runs, 90 driven in, and a .912 OPS. Reynolds is far and away the best player on the Pirates right now, in my opinion. Outside of that, you really have Brian Hayes and a bunch of prospects who really don't provide much to the major league team. So Reynolds, definitely the best player on the Pirates. I have him coming in at number 24. Coming in at number 23, I have Javier Baez of the Detroit Tigers. Last year in 138 games, Baez hit .263 with 31 home runs, 18 stolen bases, and an .813 OPS. And to go along with that, Baez is really one of the better defensive gloves in all of baseball. But what really holds him back is the strikeout issues and all around the inconsistency he shows at the plate. But still a great player, no doubt. At number 22, I have Logan Webb of the San Francisco Giants. Last year, Webb showed up as he pitched in 148 innings where he went 11-3 with a .297 ERA with 158 strikeouts. Down the stretch, he was a huge piece to San Francisco and a big reason why they ended up winning the NL West. Going forward, he is most likely only going to get better as he was one of the top prospects in the organization a few years back. At number 21, we have Robbie Ray of the Seattle Mariners. Ray is coming off a huge season as he won the AL Cy Young where he pitched in 193 innings and went 13-7 with a .284 ERA and 248 strikeouts. Last year, Ray was at his absolute best, really the best we have seen him in his career. So he is undoubtedly going to be the ace of the Mariners rotation going forward. The only reason why I don't rank him a little bit higher is because of the inconsistency he has shown in the past. Coming in at number 20, we have Salvador Perez of the Kansas City Royals. Last year, Perez put together a career season where he shattered many records. He played in 161 games where he hit .273 and broke the catcher's home run record in a single season as he had 48 home runs, drove in 121, and had an .859 OPS. And he has one of the better gloves in all of baseball behind the plate. It seems like every single time someone runs on this guy, they are getting thrown out. And while Perez is very unlikely to replicate his 2021 season, he has shown in the past to be a very good catcher and an all-star caliber catcher at that. Coming in at number 19, we have Byron Buxton of the Minnesota Twins. Last year, Buxton was limited as he only played in 61 games, but he did make a huge impact. He hit .306 with 19 home runs, 9 stolen bases to go along with a .1005 OPS. And this was a little bit of a tough one to pick because I also wanted to go with Jorge Polanco, but ultimately went with Byron Buxton because of his combination of offense and defense out there in the outfield. Coming in at number 18, I have Jose Abreu of the Chicago White Sox. Abreu won the AL MVP back in 2020, and last year he was again very productive. He played in 152 games where he hit .261 with 30 home runs, 117 driven in, and an .831 OPS. This was another tough one to pick because you have guys like Liam Hendriks, Lance Lynn, and Tim Anderson, who in my opinion are all very close to being the best player on the team. But I think Abreu slightly edges them out, and I have him coming in at number 18. At 17, I have Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros. Last year, Tucker played in 140 games where he hit .294 with 30 home runs, 92 driven in, 14 stolen bases, and a .917 OPS. And as I mentioned before the start of the video, Carlos Correa most likely is the best player on this team, but since he's a free agent, I'm not counting him. And also, I was very close to putting Jose Altuve, but I think Tucker's all-around game puts him a little bit above Altuve at this point. Tucker started off the season slow, but for the second half of the season, he was really playing like an MVP. At number 16, I have Wander Franco of the Rays. Franco was called up mid-season last year and really showed up. He played in 70 games where he hit .288 with 7 home runs, 39 driven in, and an .810 OPS. And this guy is probably the best young star in the game. He's 20 years old. He next year could even be in the MVP conversation. He's just so advanced at such a young age, and really this one was a no-brainer in my opinion. I had players like Tyler Glasnow and Brendan Lau come up, but I think Wander Franco at this point in time is just a lot better than them. At number 15, I have Rafael Devers of the Red Sox. Last year, Devers played in 156 games where he hit .279 with 38 home runs, 115 driven in, and an .890 OPS. Devers' defense isn't all there over at third base, but his offense makes up for it and then some. He's consistently been the best offensive player in the Red Sox lineup for the past couple seasons. And he just turned 25 this past October, so he is really only going to get better as he is entering his prime. At number 14, I have Matt Olson of the Oakland A's. Olson put together a huge season last year as he played in 156 games where he hit .271 with 39 home runs, 111 driven in, and a .911 OPS. And on top of that, you could argue that he is the best defensive first baseman in the game. He's won 2 Gold Gloves up to this point in his career, and when you put that together with 50 home run pop, you're going to be one of the better players in baseball. At number 13, I have Marcus Semien of the Texas Rangers. Semien had the best season of his career last year as he played in all 162 games where he hit .265 with 45 home runs, 102 driven in, 15 stolen bases, and an .873 OPS. And this past season really paid off for Semien as he signed a 7-year, $175 million contract. And Semien used to be probably the worst defensive shortstop in baseball, but he's taken the strides and has really put himself up as an above-average defender. So with a combination of defense, power, and speed, I have this guy as the best Texas Ranger, and I have him coming in at number 13. At number 12, I have Josh Hader of the Milwaukee Brewers. Last year in 58 innings, he locked down 34 saves, punched out 102 batters, and had a .84 whip. And I might get some pushback with ranking Hader this high, but when you just look at how many teams have struggled from the closer position in the past, it really just proves how valuable a good closer is in today's game. Hader is the best closer in baseball, in my opinion, and the best Brewer right now. Coming in at number 11, I have Jose Ramirez of the Cleveland Guardians. Ramirez played in 152 games where he hit .268, 36 home runs, 104 driven in, 27 stolen bases, and an .893 OPS. Ramirez is one of the most underrated superstars in today's game. The only thing he really lacks is the defense. But no one talks about this guy. He puts up consistent all-star and MVP caliber numbers year in and year out, and he just doesn't get the recognition he deserves. At number 10, I have Aaron Judge of the New York Yankees. Last year, Judge played in 148 games where he hit 287 with 39 home runs, 98 driven in, and a 916 OPS. And to go along with that, he provides gold glove defense over there in right field as he has one of the better arms in the game. So really, Judge is an MVP caliber player and clearly the best Yankee in my opinion. At number 9, I have Nolan Arenado of the St. Louis Cardinals. Arenado had a big first year in St. Louis as he played in 157 games, hit 255 with 34 home runs, 105 driven in, and an 807 OPS. Year in and year out, this guy hits 30 plus home runs, drives in 100 runs, and provides you with gold glove defense. Arenado has won 9 straight gold gloves to start his career, and if he keeps up this pace, I think he has a shot at the Hall of Fame. At number 8, I have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Toronto Blue Jays. Vlad had a huge season last year as he played in 161 games, hit 311 with 48 bombs, 111 driven in, and a 1002 OPS. The pressure has been on Vlad for a very long time, and last year he showed his full potential. And what's crazy about this guy is that he is still only 23 years old, and going forward, he is most likely only going to get better as he adjusts to Major League pitching and gets in better shape. At number 7, I have Bryce Harper of the Philadelphia Phillies. Last year, Harper won the National League MVP award as he played in 141 games where he hit 307 with 35 home runs, 13 stolen bases, and a 1044 OPS. He's one of the smartest hitters in baseball today and also provides very good defense over there in right field. Similar to Vlad, the pressure has been on Harper for a very long time and he's really lived up to it. At number 6, I have Mookie Betts of the LA Dodgers. Betts had a down season last year as he only played in 122 games where he hit 262 with 23 home runs, 10 stolen bases, and an 854 OPS. But when this guy is on the field and healthy, he is arguably a top 5 player in baseball. He's shown us what he's capable of in the past. He shows up when it matters most, and on top of that, he is a very good defensive outfielder. At number 5, I have Jacob deGrom of the New York Mets. deGrom is undoubtedly the best pitcher in the game. The only reason why I don't have him ranked a little bit higher is because he is only able to go out there every 5th day. Last year, deGrom pitched in 92 innings where he went 7-2 with a 1.08 ERA, 146 punchouts, and a .54 whip. Those are just video game numbers that you're really not going to see from anyone else in baseball. Even with the Mets recently acquiring Max Scherzer, deGrom is still far and away the best player on the Mets. At number 4, I have Fernando Tatis Jr. of the San Diego Padres. Probably going to get some hate with this one, but the reason why I have him at number 4 is because of the defense. He's clearly not polished over there at shortstop. Outside of that, he is the best player in the game, but defense is a big part, and I just can't ignore that. Last year, Tatis played in 130 games where he hit 281 with 41 home runs, 96 driven in, 25 stolen bases, and a 975 OPS. Tatis is undoubtedly one of the best players in baseball, but I can't ignore the fact that he is still developing defensively. At number 3, I have Mike Trout of the LA Angels. And this was an extremely tough one here too, as Shohei Ohtani put together a historic season last year. But with what Mike Trout has shown up to this point in his career, and Ohtani only doing this for one season, I just can't put him above Mike Trout. Last year, Trout only played in 36 games where he hit 338 with 8 home runs and a 1090 OPS. And yes, Ohtani put up historic numbers, but Mike Trout, up to this point in his career, he's really on pace to become a top 5 player of all time. He is clearly a lock for the Hall of Fame, and I just can't disrespect him and say he's not the best player on the Angels. At number 2, I have Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Atlanta Braves. Last year, Acuna was limited to 82 games, but he produced. He hit 283 with 24 home runs, 52 driven in, 17 stolen bases, and a 990 OPS. He nearly had a 40-40 season back in 2019. He is similar to Fernando Tatis Jr. in the sense that he has the best power and speed combo in baseball today. And while Acuna and Tatis are very similar offensively, the reason why I put Acuna ahead of him is because of the defense. At this stage of their careers, Acuna is clearly more advanced defensively. I think Acuna is going to win multiple MVP awards, and he is one of the top players in the game. Coming in at number 1, I have Juan Soto of the Washington Nationals. This guy just simply does it all. Last year, in 151 games, he hit .313 with 29 home runs, 95 driven in, 9 stolen bases, and a .999 OPS. If you watch this guy, you will just see how good of a baseball player he really is. He is still only 23 years old, and he is just so advanced at such a young age. His plate discipline is really second to none. Defensively, he has a very good arm. He's not the fastest guy in the world, but he is definitely an above average defender. Soto, similar to Acuna, I think will win multiple MVPs throughout his career. The only thing holding him back is the bad roster that he has around him right now in Washington. All right, so that's going to wrap today's video up. Let me know what you guys think down below, and also don't forget to subscribe if you do enjoy the content. And as always, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.